Hello, my lovely grade 2s. Welcome to your last video of boats and buoyancy. So by now in this unit, you've learned so many things. You've learned that some materials are better at floating than others. You've learned that shape affects how well something can float. You have learned that increasing the stability of a boat will make it more reliable. You've learned boats need to be waterproof, and you've learned how to build your own boat. That means you only have one thing left to do. Nobody wants to sit on a boat that doesn't go anywhere, so you need to make it move. So today you're going to be exploring creating a motor for a boat. So this boat doesn't need to be able to hold a load unless you want it to. So you're just going to need really simple buoyant materials. So I have some styrofoam, and then I also have some, this is like what like a for sale sign is made of. So it's just like, I don't know what this is called, but it's like a plasticky kind of cardboard. So it's not paper, it's plastic. Sorry. And so you can just use any material that you have. So again, styrofoam is a really, really good material. So this comes kind of like when you buy meat at the store. If you can like wash it really good, or if you just have some styrofoam, maybe your egg carton, something, it's a really good material. The other things you're gonna need for today are a balloon, a straw, some plastic spoons or popsicle sticks, and then a couple of rubber bands. So go ahead and gather those now if you want, and you'll also need some water to test in. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the best way to test for this lesson is in your bathtub, because then you have a large space that the boat can move around, and I'm not gonna be able to show you very much in this tiny little container, so if you can test in your bathtub or swimming pool, that'd be even better. So, before we get started, we need to talk about what is a motor. So a motor can mean lots of different things, and we're not gonna talk about a motor in a car or a motor in a computer. We're just talking about a motor in a very simple way today. So how a motor works is it uses force to make motion. So force is like pressure or pushing, and motion is moving. So a motor is anything that uses force to push something along. So our boat needs to move forward. That's motion. And so today we're going to explore two types of motors. It's not even really a motor. That's a bit too complicated. That's saying a lot to call it a motor, but just so you kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. We're going to make an air-powered boat, and we're going to make a motion-powered boat. So I'm going to do a quick explanation. Stuff is a little bit more complicated. It's a lot more complicated than you need to know for grade 2. I just feel like I like to explain it a bit so you kind of are prepared. You study force and motion in a higher grade in science, so this is just kind of a teaser. If this doesn't make sense to you, just ignore it and wait till the next part. So let's say we have our water here, and this one is air powered. So this cloud is air. It's air coming out, let's say, out of a straw. And so the green arrows are showing where the air is going. So it's pushing this way. Now, since it's pushing that way, the water is kind of stopping it from pushing, as you can see. So as it goes here, it actually pushes off the water to go the opposite way. So force is going this way, and then the motion is going this way. So they're opposing forces. They kind of go against each other, so that as the force goes towards the water, it uses that to push itself forward. And then we have a motion powered. So the way we're gonna be doing that today is using 2 spoons, and they're gonna be kind of going like this in the water. And so the way that works is that you can see these are like the little spoons, and as they rotate around, so I'll just show you now what that looks like. You can't really see much, but so you can see it's rotating around here. It's going to be displacing the water. So it's going to be moving the water. It's going to be picking it up and going like this. So as the force is going this way, remember motion's the opposite. So it's going to go that way. So that was a bit of a complicated and messy way to explain that, but just a little bit of putting it in your head that we're talking about force and motion. So without further ado, it's time for you to create a boat that will move. So The first boat is the air-powered boat. Now, I don't want to be stuck blowing into a straw, so I wonder if there's something that could hold a bit of air for me. Any ideas? How about a balloon? And this is really old, so sorry, your balloon should be a bit nicer than this. So a balloon can hold some air, and then it can also release that air as soon as I let go. So you're going to need a balloon tied to a straw. So I would suggest taping it. Now here's the key. You have to tape it really well. Put the straw inside the balloon and then close it and tape it really tightly. If there's any holes for the air to get out, the air is no longer coming out of the straw, it's gonna spill out the sides, and that won't make your boat go. You need all the air from the balloon to come out of the straw, so tape it really well there. Then you need to put your little motor on your boat. So this boat is just a yellow piece of styrofoam, and it's just being held by a rubber band to the boat. So the air is going to come out of the straw here. The air will be in the balloon, and it will slowly move, actually quickly move through the straw, and here's where the water will be. So if my straw is far away from the water, let's say if your straw is pointing upwards like this, it's not going to be pushing against the water. So if the air's coming out at this angle, it's just going into the air. That's not going to make it move. You need to have the air pushing against the water for it to move. So you need your straw to be quite low. It even could be tilted a bit down. This one's not, but it could be tilted a bit down so that it pushes against the water. So if we have the force going this way, which way will the motion be? Which way is your boat going to move, this way or this way? The air is coming out here. Well, hopefully you said your boat's going to be going this way, because remember they're opposite. So as the force comes out here, motion will go this way. Again, this is a tiny tank of water and there's nowhere for it to go. So I'm going to leave that experimenting up to you. Make this, test it out, and let me know how it goes. The second type of boat we're going to make is motion powered. So we're going to use motion instead of air to make our boat move. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this one. This is just the most effective way that I found over the years. So I took some plastic straw spoons and I snapped them off so it's just the head, and then I tied those together really tightly. And then for the important part, the motion from this motor comes from the rubber bands. So the rubber bands can store or hold a lot of energy or motion inside. And how do you think it might do that? It can do that by twisting. So if you've ever twisted a rubber band and then let it go, it unwinds itself really quickly. And so that movement can be captured. Just a rubber band alone wouldn't do anything, but I'm using the motion of the rubber band unwinding to twist these spoons around. So the rubber band is not only wrapped around the sides of my boat here, it's also wrapped around my spoons, so that as the rubber band moves, my spoons also move. So that motion is going to be how my motor is made. So you're going to need to cut your plastic cardboard, sorry, I don't know what this is called, signboard maybe? And then you're going to need to cut a big long hole here, long enough that you can put your motor with room to move, okay? A lot of the times we want to cut it too short and then there's no room for the motor. So you need a long space. And then if you don't have plastic spoons that you can break, you can also use popsicle sticks. So put one popsicle, or break a popsicle stick in half or something, one here, one there, tape it together, and then do the same thing. So to wind up your motor, you need to create some energy. And so we're gonna hold it before we and then when we let it go, it will be released. So we're gonna tighten up our rubber band. So you can see it's twisted. It's gonna have some force soon. The force is gonna come when this is moved. So again, my boat is so small that it's not going to go anywhere, or my water is so small it's not gonna go anywhere, but you'll see, it's not deep enough. I'll just have to show you what it looks like out of water. Okay, so you can see as that turns around, it's going to push my boat forward. So I want you to experiment with this, and then in a big container, big enough for it to move, see what happens. Does it move forward? Does it move backwards? Does that change depending on which way your spoon is facing and which way you wind the rubber band? And that's it. Those are the 2 boats. That's the science unit. You needed to, mostly it was about spending time testing your designs and learning a bit about the design process. This is a really, really fun unit, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And our next science unit is super fun. It's actually my favorite unit. So it's not going to be posted for a little bit yet, so hang in there. And of course you can do the social unit if you are looking for more to do. But that's kind of it for Boats and Buoyancy. So thanks for joining me for this science unit. I hope you guys liked it. And send me your pictures and videos of your boats to let me know how it went. Bye!